Just because you've finished your training doesn't mean you're not going to learn anything new. In fact, you're probably about to learn a lot more now that you've been let loose. By definition, a free lesson is when you learn something new that doesn't cost you anything. Maybe in this sport, your pride, but for the most part, you've gotten away with it. Here's a breakdown of the free lessons that I've had since I started flying. Maybe you'll learn something too. So my first free lesson, it took me about 30 flights to get. This field you can see here, I was supposed to land in. The ground footage is shot by my brother, and I was going to drop in, have a cup of tea, then take off again and fly back to where I'd flown from. There was a couple of issues with this. This was the first time that I'd flown on my own away from my training ground, and it was the first time I was landing out. The other problem I had was I couldn't really tell where the wind was. So this flyover, I went to land, but then decided not to, go around again and then come in for a landing. I later discovered that I was with the wind, be it only about 3 miles an hour, and it just took me a little bit by surprise, so I was gliding a little bit further. Now, as you can see, this is my final approach here. Engines off, and as I go to land, oscillating a little bit, corrected that, but I then start putting an input in of right brake. I trip, fall over, didn't break anything, and here's the head cam footage. Now what caught me out was because I was gliding in too far, I thought I was going to hit this metal container here. Had I stuck to my guns and stayed straight in the direction I was landing, I would have landed miles before that metal container, and I would have been able to kite my wing down and everything would have been fine. So what did I learn? Don't do loads of new things at once, it can overcomplicate things, and once you're committed to a line, you're landing on that line. Don't try and turn at the last minute, because you'll only speed up your wing and you'll end up ploughing yourself into the ground. Also, if you're going to crash, do it dressed as Santa Claus. I didn't break anything, so that was my first free lesson. So the second free lesson I had encountered was down at Winglands. I was flying around, getting a bit more confident in my flying. It's a relatively higher wind day, so it's probably about 7-ish miles an hour here, and I'd already done one touch and go earlier in the day. Now, in this clip, I'm coming in for my second touch and go, which is the second one I've ever actually done. So I managed to pull off the touch and go fine. It was what led after that which was the issue. So I came down, and I did a little bit of a flare because of the wind, didn't really need much, ran it off, powered back up, and then decided to pull hard on my right brake and turn. Now the issue with that is my engine torques to the left. Now if you know anything about flying paramotors, you turn with the torque, you don't turn against it, because you can get riser twist. I didn't personally feel it, but the people who were on the ground cringed quite hard because apparently it looked a lot worse than it felt. Lesson learned. Turn with the torque, not against it, otherwise could be a bad day. That was my second free lesson. Okay, so free lesson number 3 then, here we go, we're back at Wingland. I'm now coming back from a lovely hour's flight, doing some low flying over the fields, near the dikes, over by the sea, and we're coming in for a landing here. At this point I'm probably between about 35-40 flights, and it seems to be that I'm getting a little bit lazy with things. The landing itself's fine, I'm now committing to my lines, which is good. I go to turn around, tidy things up, and oh, trip over. So at this point what I really should have done is when I landed, put my hands up again, ran forward, let the wing fly, pull on a bit more brake, turn around and control it better. I think I just tried to turn around a bit too soon and then just tripped on a little bit of long grass, or I was just running sideways or something like that. Managed to tangle myself up in the wing as well, which I seem to be getting pretty good at. So that was my third free lesson. Since that point I've started to address what I'm doing wrong with my landings. I'm now starting to think once again about what I should be doing when I'm landing, because I got a bit complacent and a bit lazy, like I said. So really it's just paying attention to what I need to be doing. Lesson number 4 that I learned, this comes directly after my last lesson that I just had. I decided that I wasn't very happy with the landing that I'd just done, so I was going to go up for a quick loop and then come in and land and then pack up for the day. So I'm rushing around, getting all my kit set up. I strap into my paramotor and I start to rock back before I rock forward to help myself stand up, and I fall straight over. I literally turtled myself without even being clipped to a wing. I don't know how many of you can say that you've done that. It's pretty impressive by anyone's feet. Get up, pick up the motor and inspect it, and everything was fine. I didn't break anything. I'm so surprised I didn't break a prop on that one. Went up for a flight. Unfortunately the camera died before I took off, but it was a nice landing and a great finish to the day. And what did I learn on that 4th lesson? Don't rush about, you'll only make mistakes. Fuck's sake. My 5th free lesson that I've ever had during my flying career is my most recent video, which was my worst flight. It was by far the worst flight I've ever had, but it wasn't unenjoyable because I used it as a learning experience. I got to actively fly my wing, and also when you analyse this sort of stuff, you know what you need to be doing for future experiences. This obviously isn't the whole video I'm showing here. You can go and watch the full video up on the top right link, but the landing that I come in and do is just really not that great. It's windy, I start to rock about and then stack it into the field. Didn't break anything once again, hence why it's in this video. I think I've got a tendency to pull a little bit more left brake when I'm landing, so I need to address that now. And when I get the chance, I'm just going to do a load of launch lands and really think about things again. Having only had about 40 flights in total, I'm still very, very new. And these 5 lessons have been a gentle reminder that I still need to focus on my piloting skills and keep improving myself. If you're not learning anything, you're probably becoming complacent. If you've ever experienced a free lesson, be sure to leave what happened down in the comments below, and you never know, someone may find that information really useful. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, I'll see you up in the air.